Hello friends, welcome to Blurred TV. So here we are today with a very interesting story. This time it is about the shocking true story behind the Amityville horror. The Amityville horror is one of the most iconic and best known haunted house stories of the past century. Following the publication, a 1977 novel about the incident, a blockbuster film premiered in 1979 that subsequently spawned copious amounts of sequels, reboots, and knockoff films in every decade since. To date, the unassuming and purportedly haunting Long Island home has featured in nearly 24 films. And there's no indication that people will get tired of being spooked by it anytime soon. But what's the real story that inspired the long-running and popular horror franchise? Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that the history of Amityville's notoriety really did begin with true horror. In the early morning hours of November 13, 1974, a man named Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed his mother, father, and 4 siblings while they slept in their suburban home at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York. DeFeo was convicted for their murders and he remains incarcerated today. Needless to say, with all of its occupants murdered, the house at 112 Ocean Ave soon became available, and in December 1975, the Lutz family moved in. So, before talking about the Lutz family, let's see what happened on the day of murder. Around 6:30 p.m. on November 13, 1974, 23-year-old DeFeo entered Henley Bar's Amityville, Long Island, New York, and declared, "You got to help me. I think my mother and father are shot." DeFeo and a small group of people went to 112 Ocean Avenue, which was located near the bar, and found that DeFeo's parents were dead inside the house. One of the group, DeFeo's friend, Joe Yeswit, made an emergency call to the Suffolk County Police Department, who searched the house and found that 6 members of the family were dead in their beds. The victims were Ronald Jr.'s parents, Ronald DeFeo Sr., 43, and Louis DeFeo, 43, and his 4 siblings, Don, 18, Allison, 13, Mark, 12, and John Matthew, only 9 years old. Of all the victims had been shot with a 35 caliber lever-action Marlin 336C rifle around 3 o'clock in the morning of that day. The DeFeo parents had both been shot twice, while the children had all been killed with single shots. Physical evidence suggests that Louis DeFeo and her daughter Allison were both awake at the time of their deaths. According to Suffolk County Police, the victims were all found lying face down in bed. The 6 victims were later buried in nearby St. Charles Cemetery in Farmingdale. Now let's get back to the Lutz family. So about 13 months later, the Lutz family purchased the home at a drastically reduced price of £80,000 due to the murders, but only lasted 20 days before leaving it. How amazing is that? Their spine-tingling tales of paranormal activity are what propelled the legend of the Amityville horror and spawned a torrent of books, documentaries, and films. Now let's hear about what the Lutz family had to say about their odd stories inside the house. The Lutz family claimed to smell strange odors, saw green slime oozing out of the walls and keyholes, and experienced cold spots in certain areas of the house. A priest was then called upon to understand the whole supernatural situation, which was somewhat occurring in the villa according to the family. So when the priest came to bless the house, he allegedly heard a voice scream, "Get out!" He told the Lutz to never sleep in that particular room in the house. Other paranormal activities included a nearby garage door opening and closing, an invisible spirit knocking a knife down in the kitchen, a pig-like creature with red eyes staring down at George and his son Daniel from a window, George waking up to wife Kathy levitating off their bed, sons Daniels and Christopher also levitating together in their beds. One of the most interesting and horrifying story was about the demonic boy. The demonic boy photo may be the most puzzling part of Amityville horror saga. This photo was taken by Ed and Lorraine Warren. Claims to show the ghost of a 9-year-old John DeFeo. DeFeo, remember who John DeFeo is? DeFeo was also killed by his older brother Ronald at their house in Amityville. Ed and Lorraine Warren were paranormal experts who entered the house and captured this image using a camera that consistently took infrared photos during the night. The Lutz family also claimed about other odd incidents that took place inside the house. Among the strange things that allegedly happened in the home were sightings of demons, objects moving on their own, slime pouring from the walls, a fly infestation in the dead of winter, strange demonic voices, and the family being attacked by unseen forces. The Lutz supposed experiences were fictionalized by J. Anson for his 1977 novel, The Amityville Horror, and that's where the story gets a bit muddled. Journalists have enough common sense not to believe in ghosts, but in the 1970s, American culture was awash in superstition. Ronald DeFeo Jr., also known as the Butch, was the eldest son of the family and its lone surviving member. He was taken to the local police station for his own protection after suggesting to police officers at the scene of the crime that the killings had been carried out by mob hitman Louis Fellini. The following day, he confessed to carrying out the killings himself, and Fellini, the alleged hitman, had an alibi proving he was out of state at the time of the killings. DeFeo told detectives, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. I went so fast." He admitted that he had taken a bath and redressed, and details where he had discarded crucial evidence such as blood-stained clothes and the Merlin rifle and cartridges before going to work as usual. So, whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that the history of Amityville's notoriety really did begin with a true horror. So, friends, what do you think is the truth is? Did DeFeo kill his family? Or was there a paranormal activity of ghosts involved? Let us know in the comment section. So guys, did you like today's story about Amityville? If you did, then please comment, like, and share. And don't forget to subscribe our channel, The Blur TV. Thank you so much for your love and support. Goodbye.